Hey everyone, today we're taking a look at page 10 in your lesson book, so go on ahead and open up to that. And we're going to start by looking at the yellow box on the top of the page. It says dotted quarter and eighth note. So that's what we're working on today, is this special rhythm, this special combination of a dotted quarter note followed by an eighth note. And you haven't seen it much in music up to this point, but after we learn this, you are going to see it a lot in music. So it's important that we take a look at this. So if you look up in the yellow box, it's actually showing you two different ways of playing the same thing. And I've written them over here on the board. So the first one is a quarter note tied to an eighth note with an eighth note after it. Remember that a tie, it looks like a slur, but when you tie two notes together, you hold them for the length of if you added them together. So for example, we've played music before where we have two whole notes and they're tied together. Each whole note gets 4 beats. So if we tie those two together, you would play it for a total of 8 beats. So what we're going to do right now is underneath our this example right here, we're going to write the counting, and we're going to count everything in eighth notes. So 1 and 2 and 3 and so on. So the quarter note we know has 2 eighth notes worth in it. So we would call this 1 and. This eighth note is just an eighth note, so it only has 1 eighth note in it. That would become 2, and that would make this last eighth note and. So when you play or count or clap this rhythm, it's 1 and 2 and, or 1 and 2 and, okay? Now we take a look over here. We've learned that a dot means that you add an extra half of that note's value. Think about a dotted quarter note, a dotted half note. A half note is normally 2 beats. You add a dot, half of 2 is 1. 2 plus 1 is 3, and you play it for 3 beats. A quarter note is normally 1 beat, and this is kind of tough to think about, but half of 1 is half. So this is going to be 1.5 beats. In other words, 1 and 2. And then this eighth note is a half a beat as well, so that's and. And if you look at the counting, you'll see these are actually the same thing. So you count them the same way, 1 and 2 and. Okay? Take a look at number 37. You can see that they demonstrate or they showcase these two ways of writing this rhythm. In measure 1, they have the version with the tie, and in measure 3, they have the dotted quarter note with the eighth note. After this page, you will almost never see it written the first way. That's kind of a silly way to write it. It looks a lot better to write the dotted quarter note, but they're doing it for learning purposes to show you the difference between the two. Well, that they look different, but that they sound the same. Okay, so we're going to go through number 37 and clap out the rhythm and say it, and then we'll play it with our instruments on an open string. So here's number 37, the rhythm rap. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, rest. Nice. So when we play this, after the 1 and 2 of the dotted quarter note, we then move our bow on and for the eighth note, which will feel a little bit weird, but I think if you do it a couple of times, you'll realize it's not too bad, actually. Okay, so let's do this on our open A string, open A. So ready, and here we go. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3. Rest. Nice. The next thing I like about these rhythm raps is that typically when you have one, the next exercise is the same rhythm, just with pitches now with different notes. So if you look at 38, it's the same rhythm we just played. So we already have the rhythm down. Now we just have to add the notes. And the notes on this actually look pretty easy. It looks like we're just hanging out on the D string. We have D, E, F sharp, and G. So we should be able to play this right now, number 38. Okay, ready, and here we go. 1 and 2. Awesome. And the next several exercises are just practicing this dotted quarter eighth note pattern. This is one of those things that the more you do it, eventually you'll look at that and say, oh, I know exactly what that sounds like because I've played it so many times. So we're going to go through these 39, 40, and 41. So we'll start with 39. And I'm not going to take the repeat sign. I know there is one, but I'm going to skip that for now. So, and by the way, you'll notice that we only see that dotted quarter note now. They've taken out the tie thing. They're done with that demonstration. So we see it the way that you will always see it in pieces of music for the most part. So setting up our high D for 39. Ready, and here we go. Good. Number 40. I'll give you a heads up on this one. When you get to the half note, the half notes, they are going to feel very long. 1, 2, 3, 4. So make sure you don't rush the half notes. Okay, so ready, and here we go. 1 and 2. 1, 2. Good, and you'll notice every time I get to one of those dotted quarter notes, I count 1 and 2, and then immediately then we'll do my up bow. Normally it's an up bow for the eighth note. So 1 and 2 and 3. So really important that you are counting that in your head as well. Here's 41. Ready, and here we go. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Awesome. Okay, last but not least is number 42. You'll see there's a yellow box above number 42 with the symbol fermata. It's a little like half circle with a dot in the middle. You often will see this in orchestra music. You may have already seen it before, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. And when you see this in orchestra music, it means to look up at the conductor and they will tell you when to stop playing it. So you would hold that note for longer than it's supposed to be held. It often happens at the end of a piece. So you can see that on this one for number 42, the fermata is on the last note. So if you were playing this in a concert, you would look up and you would hold it for as long as the conductor said to hold it, and then they would cut you off. If you're playing this and you are a soloist, you're playing on your own, you get to decide within reason how long you want to hold that note for. We won't worry about that right now when we're playing 42. But just know that that's what that means if you come across it in music. Okay. So I'm going to play the A line first and then the B line. And when we come together for lessons, we'll try to put them together. Okay, so 42. Ready, and this is the A line. Here we go. And 2. Nice. And the B line, lots of eighth notes here. We're going to hang out right in the middle of the bow. And there are some notes on the G string, so make sure that you're playing the right notes. And if you need to go back to a page to review what those notes are, what fingers to play for those notes, please do that because it's important that we know how to play the notes on that string. So here we go. 3 and 4 and. Okay, so we've made it through page 10. We'll actually be working on this dotted quarter note thing in class too with the piece we're going to be playing, so you'll get lots of practice with it. And just work really hard on this page, and we'll see you at your lesson.